Hello, everyone. My name is Corey Wynn, and this is a SmartTAP360 administrative overview of the SmartTAP application. The intent of this is to be used post-installation as a supplementative resource, a refresher course on the administrative access and features of the SmartTAP application. Um, we won't be going through every single one of the administrative access abilities, but just the high-level ones in terms of a refresher course. So first, the two tabs we'll be focusing on today are the System tab and the User tab. Under the System tab, some of the highlighted functions that could be done by a supervisor or administrator would include the audit trail. On the audit trail, you can find all actions done by a specific user over a defined time range. To get a list of those actions, you can click on the down arrow and see all the different actions that we can report upon. There's quite a few. What you would need to do is select what user do you want to perform an audit against, and then the time range for that audit. We'll go back and get the last month of actions for Giddy. And you'll see we got returned one of 18 pages of actions performed by Giddy over that time range. We can get these in the form of a PDF or an Excel file if we want to pull this and share it with other people. Or we can even filter by a few pieces such as description, action type, etc. Licenses is where you can see what your system is currently licensed for in case you might need to add or adjust license counts. You can see what's total, what is in use, what is available, and how many have been max consumed over a time range. You can also set a notification threshold to notify you if this threshold has been met from a licensing standpoint. Next, we'll go on to tagging. Call tagging can be done either during a live call or post-call as historical information. Tags can be used to report on off of specific calls, or they can also be used to export as information on different call tag types. Right here, you'll see a summary of some of the call tags we have, including tests, notes, case ID, follow-up, customer ID. You can get a glimpse of what those tags are if you click on the view button, and it'll give you, the name of the tag, the description, and what the input type is. All of these can be totally customizable by you. If we wanted to add a tag, we could simply click on the Add Tag button, put in a tag name. We'll say claim number. In this situation, this might be an insurance company. Tag description, claim number again. Then we'll do select one of text. Let's say we wanted to have some pre-populated information that's standard on each claim number. We could put in an open quotation mark, and we'll just do CN for claim number, and then a dash, and then a close quotation mark, and then we can type in asterisks in order to be put in other information for the user. We can then submit that, and it will add it as a tag. So tag claim number has now successfully been added. Continuing on. So now this, to finish up on that, that will now be able to be searched upon whenever user selects add a tag. They can now enter a claim number and put in this free-formed CN dash, what is the claim number, 12345, or whatever that might be. On retention policies, this is where we can modify or view or add existing retention policies. Here's some examples of retention policies we currently have in the system. The name of the retention policy, description of it, and how many days is it there for. If we wanted to add another policy, we could simply click the Add Policy button, give it a policy name, test policy, description, test, and then retention a number of days. So this can be defined in terms of 7 days all the way up to years worth of storage. So we'll put 1,200 days in there. Delete what's going to happen once retention has been hit. What do we want to do? Do we want to delete calls and evaluations based against that? Delete calls but keep evaluations, or keep calls and keep evaluations, just depending on that. Then we can submit it, and we can attach this policy to specific users to keep their calls for those defined time ranges. We're now going to shift over to the user tab. This is where you'll do your user modification, setup, group setup, recording policy setup. You'll notice the flow of this, it's done in a very specific way. So first, group management. Users can be a part of groups, and users can also have recording profiles. Groups can be defined as companies, and groups can even have subgroups a part of them. So for example, we've got company A, description is company A. If we wanted to come in here and modify company A, we can see company A, the members that are a part of company A, and the subgroups that are also a part of company A. Company A finance, company A sales. We could add other members or other groups to company A to help for searching later on. If we wanted to add a group, we could do that here. We could give another group, test group. We could give a description of the group. We'll just say IT, and then decide what members do we want to have a part of the group and what available groups do we want to have as far as subgroups for our new group to have that tiered type environment. All of this, again, can be used primarily for reporting on when you're pulling call records. Additionally, before you want to add users, you'll want to add security profiles. Security profiles are primarily going to be used for rights and access privileges of users once they have the system. So I'll show you currently what we do have for viewing and modifying security profiles. All of these can be defined and edited by you. So we've got an administrative profile, a supervisor profile, a test profile, agent profile, and then a few other custom built profiles by us. You'll see the description of the profile in this column here. You'll see the permissions of the profile in this column here. You'll notice administrator can do pretty much everything in the system, while agent can do very little. Agent playback can do even less. Profiles can be modified or deleted by selecting one of these two buttons over here. Again, you can add additional profiles as needed by selecting Add Security Profile. Again, you can give it a description, a name and a description, and then you can access what all privileges you want the profile to have. Once you finish this up here, you can submit and it will be built as another profile that you can then attach to a user. That's in terms of a security profile. Now, recording profiles are done much the same way. Recording profiles can be set and defined by you. So here's some examples of recording profiles that we have in the system today. ROD for record on demand, PSTN full-time recording. This is interesting because remember, with PSTN full-time recording, we could also have PSTN inbound only, where we're just capturing inbound PSTN calls, or PSTN outbound only, but this is PSTN full-time. Then we have full-time recording here, which is actually stacking on to internal peer-to-peer calls, internal user to internal user, with also PSTN calling. Then save on demand, then full-time with video. And these are just some samples that we have. These can all be customizable by the customer. You can add additional recording profiles by hitting the Add Recording Profile button, give it a name and a description. What's the recording type going to be? Full-time, record on demand, save on demand, or none? What is the media or modality that they're going to be capturing? And then you can decide what situational recordings do we want to have, inbound, outbound, of internal or PSTN, response groups, announcement types, etc. Can all be defined by recording type. And then finally, for user and device management, we're going to first view current users in the system. So you'll notice users such as Giddy, his last name is Fedida, email address. We can come in here to modify this user, and we can see what's his security profile, agent, what group is he a part of, company A, what's his recording profile, record on demand, or PSTN full-time, full-time. These are all those ones that are definable by you as a supervisor or an administrator. If we wanted to make adjustments to Giddy, we can. We could change him from record on demand to full-time. We could, let's say he has had he has been promoted from agent to supervisor. You could then give him that level status from security. If we wanted to add an additional user, we could do that here as well. Just define the user, the name, as well as email address and ID. Provide what type of recording profile you want them to have, what security profile you'd like for them to have, as well as the group, and then submit. And that user will be built within the system. That's going to conclude today's session on the administrative overview of the SmartTAP application. I'd like to thank you for your time today and check out some of our other videos on SmartTAP learning, including our supervisor overview and our evaluation overview. Thank you.